Welcome to Beyond the Basement, the complete Attack on Titan podcast. In this show, we're not just rewatching, we're going behind the scenes, deep into the anime story, unearthing intrigue, and exploring new theories about the Attack on Titan universe. The majority of each episode is spoiler-free. Then, after a warning, we'll take a few minutes to connect the dots with storylines from future episodes. You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts, but don't forget, you can join us for the live broadcast Sunday nights on Facebook and watch every episode on YouTube. Links will be in the show notes. With that, let's get into the conversation.
Welcome to the show, which is named Beyond the Basement.
The complete Attack on Titan podcast.
The complete Attack on Titan podcast. Welcome to episode 19, where we continue the chase. This episode is called
The Bite.
The Bite.
Or just Bite, if you prefer.
Let's do a quick recap.
Sponsored by Barks Root Beer.
Yeah, this episode is brought to you by...
Not, though.
Barks Root Beer.
Has Bite.
Which has Bite. Also, if you've ever been in the wilderness hiking and had somebody hand you sarsaparilla from the forest, it tastes like root beer.
It's also sponsored
that's
by
what they make it out of.
Oh.
That's
elementary school comebacks in the 90s. Bite me.
Yes.
Anyway, so this episode of Attack on Titan starts with the chase still going on. People are dying. Scouts are dying. And Eren is all fraught with, his worries about these people dying. And is like, what are we going to do? And they're like, what are we going to do? And Levi's like, we're not going to do anything. We're going to keep riding. We're not run it. And Eren's like, and they're like, Eren, get in line, you piece of crap. And go let your emotions get the best of you. And he's like, okay. And then he's like, well, maybe I could just bite my hand. And like... He contemplates turning into a Titan and then has a flashback and realizes that he should trust his comrades because they've asked him. They notice he's about to do it and they're like, you shouldn't do that. So he does. And then they keep riding. And then there's a slow-mo and they capture the female Titan. And Eren's okay and everyone's okay except for all the people that died.
That the female Titan
Gosh.
mercilessly smushed like bugs.
Anyway,
to the
so they
ground.
capture her and they're like, yes, now we're going to find out who's in the nape of the neck of this one, which confirms everything you've been suspecting so far, that this is indeed another transforming Titan shifter.
Elaborate scheme.
So, all right, let's jump to the top of the episode here, where they say probably the most important line to me, because let me just say that this line is relevant to your life and my life, and if you're considering doing things like, I don't know, like rioting and looting in the streets, this is also relevant to your life. Your job is not to give in to the emotions of the moment.
Mm.
That's the line that Levi actually says. He's saying it to all of them, but he's saying it to Eren.
Yeah, because
he's saying it to everybody because they're all freaking out.
They're all riding on the horses, right? Remember the female Titan's running behind them. They're almost there. They're saying like, Captain, is it time? Is it time? Is it time?
Let us take her out.
Can we go? Can we go?
It.
People are dying. It's like all the panic. And Levi's like, don't get caught up in the fear, you guys. Your job isn't to give over into your emotions.
Yeah, because they all have their own little plans there, and it's interesting because that seems very much like real life, where like the pressure's on, and instead of like trusting your leadership, you're like, okay, I'm going to take matters into my own hand, which they each of them has their own version of that. Eren's obviously is the I can transform into a Titan if I want, and we should switch our, but for most of them, they're like, we can switch our ODM gear, and they all have their various like what seem like good reasons in this moment of writing to do something other than what Levi has just instructed them to do. Which, don't get me wrong, if you are as annoyed as I am at this, I understand. You should have just told them the plan.
Yeah.
Holy crap! How hard could it have possibly have been to just tell like 5 people that need to know? Even if it was literally
the
just minutes
plan.
before, even if it was just a couple of minutes, even like maybe they don't need to know the plan until like maybe a few minutes. But telling them would have gone a long way. Which I love Levi and Erwin and all them, but sometimes they also make mistakes. This would be one of them.
Yeah,
also,
this is a reenactment.
Yes.
This is a reenactment of what could have happened to save all of that drama and the hype. Okay, so I'm going to be Levi. You guys are going to be Eren, and you're going to be Petra.
Okay.
We're riding on horses.
You can be a boy if you want to, but if you just want to be a girl, okay? All right, here we go. You ready? Okay, we just entered the
You can't
forest.
see, but I have coconuts slapping them together.
Female Titan right behind us, right?
Yeah. And
I mean, what am I saying? Oh, let's use our ODM gear and go kill it.
Oh, hey,
Give
guys.
us your orders, Captain.
Hey, you guys. This is all part of a plan and trapper. Just trust me, okay?
Oh, okay.
All right. Disaster averted.
You could save an entire 2 episodes, actually.
Exactly. I forgot because the last episode,
It's
the
also
the height goes, "Woo!"
Everybody's
and they
freaking
just
out.
keep you there. Like,
Nobody knows what's
for
happening.
an entire episode. But we do go into a really good flashback, which gets some good character development in this episode. But specifically this moment, it's 2 things. One is like, is your leader good and do you trust him? Even when you don't understand, because we always have our reasons to say, well, I could do it my way and I could do it this way. And I feel like Eren, he's got one card he can play and he's always willing to play that card. Like, I'll go rogue any minute and turn into a Titan at any second. I feel like, your mom like comes home like, Mom, did you get Cheetos? Like, oh, I got Doritos. He's ready to play that trump card no matter what happens. And so here we got to go back to the ideas. Is Levi a good leader? Yes. All sources point to yes. He's competent. He cares about his troops. Remember, we saw that flashback of him going to that troop when he was dying, looking him in the eye, getting blood, even though he hates blood, saying, hey, you made a difference. You did a good thing here. Like, that's what a good leader does. And so we trust Levi because he's a good leader. This is a panic. If he's not panicked, I shouldn't be panicked, right? He's my leader. If I'm going to die, he's going to die. Like, we're all in this together. Just trust the leader. At the same time, leaders, good leaders, should communicate to their staff. You want to jump into this analogy? The Star Wars analogy?
Wait, what? The Star Wars analogy?
Yeah. Okay. So remember in Star Wars, the worst of all time? I forget what episode it is. The Last Jedi or something. Is it The Last Jedi?
It is The Last Jedi.
Okay.
It is. Let's just, before we get into it, this is not actually a Star Wars movie, just to take the pressure off of everyone.
It's a fan-made movie.
This is a fan-made
by
film.
Someone who hates Star Wars.
They happen to get the license for it, and they happen to have all the same characters and a lot of stuff from the previous movies. But it's just a really expensive fan film that sucks. That just happened to also get released nationally and internationally and make billions of dollars somehow. So anyway, continuing on.
In that Star Wars movie, there's this terrible plot about this giant space chase that's happening really slow, even though this thing called hyperjump exists. And so while that's happening really slow, all the crew are like freaking out and they're like, Captain, shouldn't we do this? And shouldn't we do that? We can't just keep running. And the captain says, no, we're not going to do any of that. And then nothing.
Mysterious
and then
silence.
it's like, the guy Poe, the ship captain, is like, well, if you're not going to do anything, I have to, like, because when you don't tell people there's a plan, they break down the trust and leadership and they start saying, well, I've got to protect myself or I've got to do something. So he tries to like form a coup and all this terrible stuff happens. And in the end, she was just like, if you just would have trusted me, you would have seen that I had a plan all along. It's like, well, if you just would have told us the plan, nobody wouldn't have doubted you, right?
You could have said 3 words, or you could have said, wait, hang on. I have a plan. 4 words.
Yeah, I have a plan.
Which would have been enough.
And it's really all we have to do here. So here, all we're doing is we're emphasizing if your leader is worthy of trusting, you trust him, even when things get hard. But if you're a good leader, you communicate good plans to your people. And they've got a great plan. Erwin's got a great plan. Mm-hmm. Levi trusts in that plan. Why? Because he knows that plan, right? Everybody else doesn't know the plan. Trust in Levi so far. And here we go into the scene. Do you trust me?
I think it's also worth pointing out that when Levi says that first part, he follows in with, our orders are to defend this kid even to our last breath. And Eren says, wait, they're not here to kill me if I mess up? They're here to defend him and keep him safe.
Yeah.
Which should be the first sign that that at least Levi, the top brass, so to speak, has Eren's best interest in mind and humanity's best interest in mind, hopefully.
Yeah, Levi is the one who took a chance on Eren. Erwin's the one who wanted to protect him and bring him into the scouts. Why wouldn't they trust him? Why wouldn't Eren trust Levi and Erwin with everything?
Mm-hmm.
This is it's the urgency, the tyranny of the urgent, right? When you're in a situation in which there is an urgent need or there's pressing matters, it doesn't have to be life or death, but it certainly does happen in life or death situations. You tend to go. I mean, even Mikasa's point, we've brought this up a couple of times now, but before they go into their first battle, it's a battle for Trost. Anyway, they're going on one of their battles. Is like earlier on, and Mikasa says to Eren, or basically once the plan goes out the window when the fighting really starts. When things get chaotic, like come find me, just no matter what. Yeah. She's kind of planning for like the breakdown in order, and she's not wrong in that situation, especially because she knows the kind of chaos the Titans are going to cause. She's actually seen it firsthand, and most people haven't.
But think of every elite fighting force.
How do you mean?
They all are incredibly disciplined.
Yes.
They don't fall apart.
Yes. And that's the point that I'm making is that Mikasa is anticipating a non-elite fighting force. She's anticipating what she has seen happen, what just humans generally do, as opposed to, the
scouts, which are an elite fighting force and are well disciplined and trained and know what they're doing and don't panic.
Correct.
Usually under pressure. But
Correct.
they were panicking because they didn't know what the frick was going on.
Well, yeah, and the pressure of this moment is especially high because this is something none of them have experienced. Even Levi, none of them have seen. The whole Titan shifting thing is brand new. No one's ever seen this particular Titan. No one's ever seen one run this fast, kill people this efficiently, protect the nape of their neck. Like this one is deadly. They're all deadly. This one's deadly on a whole nother level.
Yeah. And it kind of goes back to the whole, what's the value of a human life? Well, the value of a human life is not invaluable like the bad leaders would tell you, like, throw the troops that just save me. Like, no, they're not just fodder. But the value of a human life is not so valuable that we don't do what's right and fight for them. It's at the perfect balance is that we value human life so much so that every sacrifice is incredibly grieving, but we're not going to let their deaths in vain. And here Levi is willing to let his dudes, the reinforcements in the back, die.
That's what they signed up for.
To protect Eren and to get this female Titan into the trap they set, because it's all going to be worth it in the end. If they can figure out the weaknesses, if they can figure out who's behind all this crazy assault, if they can figure out who's in the nape of this neck, we'll finally know something. Otherwise, those people's lives are all in, their deaths were all in vain.
Yeah. So one of the things they tell him to do here is keep your face forward, which is interesting because
he never does.
I'm trying to remember which guy tells him to do that. Well, A, he doesn't do it, but B, they tell him to keep their face forward. And I'm not sure if this is a plot hole or not, but these troops don't know the plan. I can't remember who it was that tells him.
I think it's Eld.
Eld
tells him.
So he's a part of the group here. Eld tells him that. And Eld is part of the group that's like, what do we do? What do we do? Meaning he doesn't know the actual plan yet, but he tells Eren to face forward. I'm not sure if I'm misinterpreting that line. I heard it as face forward so she doesn't recognize you, because that's what Armin discovered. But then these guys don't know that she's looking.
Yeah, I think it's just
to maintain top speed.
Yeah.
Keep your face forward. If you're riding a horse and you're looking back and you're not leaning
creates
down,
drag.
it creates that drag. It slows that horse down.
I'll take that.
It also causes you to panic and want to do things and take matters into your own hands more because you're seeing what's happening behind you.
Keep your face forward, not face forward. Like it just anyway, whatever.
It might be a translation thing.
So Eren's about to bite himself.
Well, okay, hang on. You're telling me to abandon my comrades. That's the line I wanted to highlight from Eren, because that's why he's resisting. Because Eren also wants to have everybody else's best interest in mind, and to his credit, he has experienced moments where leadership was telling him things that were not wise, or not true, or not, that they were basically misdirecting. I mean, they're pointing cannons at the guy, and we're like, who are you? And Anyway, what I'm saying is that his apprehension is justified because he's watching troops die, and then it occurs to him, I might be able to do something about this.
Wait a second. He's almost got the Armin thing going on. Like he's like, wait, I don't want everyone else just to die for me. Why should I let everybody die to me when I've got something I can do to stop that? When I can fight back myself. He even says at one point,
"There's one more. We can save him."
Yes. Yeah.
So
Levi says, "If you want to do it, do it."
Yeah. If you want to do it, do it. I understand, which is a hilarious line, actually. Yeah, hang on a second. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So Eren looks at his hands. He goes to bite his thumb, or he's getting pretty close. And it's interesting how much time he takes to do this, because it's almost like he's second guessing. And he says, why should I always rely on others? And there to me is the key line. There's like, this episode is all about trust. There's the key line that sets up the rest of the episode, because this is pretty early on. We're still only like a couple minutes in, where he says, why should I always have to trust in others? Like, I know I can do this on my own. And like, I have an alternative here. I have an option. And so I'm going to bring in a word that's not in this show, but should be in this show, and especially here, which the word is meekness. And so meekness is in practice is when you have the power. Meekness is not about being like, I feel like we always misinterpret it. We think of the meek as the people who are like quiet and like don't say much or something, which is, I don't know where that comes from. I don't know where the idea, but everybody seems to have a wrong definition of the word meekness.
Yeah,
meekness
we think it rhymes with weak, so it just means like you're frail, you know?
Yeah.
But
But
no.
meekness is having the power to do or say something and choosing not to do it, but intentionally choosing not to do it for the sake of X, Y, having the power to like say belittle somebody in front of other people. Maybe they deserve it. They've made a mistake. It's your charge, whatever. But you choose not to belittle them. You choose not to chastise them publicly. You had the power and maybe even the means and would have even been justified in doing so. But because you don't want to hurt this person, you believe that they will fare better if you cover for them. Like, that's meekness. That you're choosing that. So Eren right now has power that he wants to choose to use and would be justified in doing so, because they actually do tell him at one point too, like, hey, you're not supposed to do that. His fellow soldiers tell him, you're not supposed to do that unless your life's in danger. And the first thing I said when they said that, we're watching it now, I was like, his life is in danger. Right? Actively in danger right now. All of you are in danger and he can stop this. So that's when he goes to bite his thumb, and his other comrade's going to notice and go to stop him. And then that's when Levi drops the line, do it. Basically, like,
if you want to do it,
I would understand, but that's not the real reason you're a monster. If someone was going to, they say it funny, but I would interpret this as if someone was going to make the case that Eren's a monster, it's not the fact that you can transform into a Titan. It's the fact that you can't be tamed.
Yeah, you can't control your own emotions.
Mm-hmm.
You can't look past what's right in front of you to see like a outside bird's eye view and trust in us. Don't just trust in what you see. You can trust in your own, experiences and beliefs, but the difference between us is our experience. Will you trust me? Will you trust us? Will you trust the entire scout regiment? You have to choose one or the other. Will you trust us? And then Petra looks at him.
Well, and then he says, choose which one you will regret less.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then Petra drops her line.
Eren, trust us.
This line too. There's no telling. Okay, so Levi gives his little spiel, and he says, choose, will you trust yourself or you trust the scout regiment and me and everybody? And he says, I actually don't know the answer. I never have, because the truth is there's no telling how things will turn out, which, so help me God, is actually one of the most profound thoughts. You don't, whenever you make a decision, whenever you're like, should I do this? Should I do that? The actual truth is we don't really know the alternatives.
Yeah.
Even if something plays out and we think, wow, I sure dodged a bullet there. Even then, every choice we make, there's a real sense in which you do not know what the alternative would have been. It is better to simply make the decision, make the choice, what she just said, that you will regret the least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's when he carries on. He says, Petra. Then Petra drops the line. She's like, no, Eren, will you trust us or whatever? And then the flashback,
and then he
right?
starts the flashback. Yeah. The big, long flashback that begins with them. They're in a classroom kind of thing, looking at a chalkboard, and there's like a picture of an image drawn, and Levi's explaining, we're going to cut you out like this. You're going to lose your arms and your legs.
But at least you won't die.
You might not. It depends on the skill of whoever's cutting you out.
But at least we don't have to kill you.
But your arms and legs will probably grow back just like a lizard, and it totally creeps me out. It's just kind of like
freaking weird lizard people. Always growing their limbs
and
back.
then Eren is like, do you really have to cut off my limbs? I don't know if they'll grow back. And then Levi's, so you expect us to risk our lives, but you're not going to risk your life.
Yeah. A quick note on this is I'm not sure if, like, we ultimately know why Eren's having this flashback, because it has to do with trust. But when this first plays, my first instinct is to think, because Eren's about to transform, she says, will you trust us? In other words, like, don't transform right now. Mm-hmm. And the first part of the flashback is Levi explaining the fact that Eren can be arrested out of his Titan form without killing him, so he could be captured. Now, the reason I bring this up is because the connection in my brain was, don't transform right now, because even in Titan form, you might be able to defend yourself, you might be able to do something here, but she can still capture you. If she's after you, there's still a way for her to rip Eren out of his Titan and like capture
run
him.
off with him.
Yeah, this is important because before, with the dumb Titans,
They don't know Jack.
it was kill him or try to capture him alive, but you can't do anything. Well, with this Titan shifter, hypothetically, we could. This is the first breakthrough we've ever had, and maybe we could extract the person controlling you through the nape of your neck, cut their arms and legs off, pull them out. That changes things because guess what? That's what they're going to try to do to the female Titan.
Right.
So I'm not sure if that's what Eren's like putting that together right here, but that was what struck me when he first is explaining the thing on the chalkboard. I'm like, yeah, don't transform because she can still get you, bro. What's the next part of the flashback here?
So
it's a creepy person in the corner.
Hanji-san is in
I can experiment.
May I start my experiments now, Levi? And so then they go to the next day, and Eren's down in the well, and you see that they're all around, and the plan is for him to transform, and she's going to try to do something or other. I don't exactly know. So she kind of like has an imagination of what he's going to look like, and she's all excited and stuff.
Isn't this also where she tells him, it's somewhere around, I don't know if I think the day before or it's the day of the experiment, she tells him, learn as you go along.
Yeah.
Which is another line, and I'm like, that's pretty much the whole theme of this entire first season, actually. It's like just in the field training, because you have no idea what the heck is going on.
Yeah,
especially Eren.
I think it's when he's down there. He's like, I don't really know what's going to happen, and she's like, well, we'll learn as we go along. We'll learn together.
This season, instead of being called Attack on Titan, it could be like How to Train Your Titan. Because she wants to do these experiments, but Eren has to kind of figure it out and learn as he's going. And Hanji says, anything. She says, anything we learn is easily worth risking your lives for. And it's like, you're right. Any little bit of intel is totally worth anything they can pay to get it, because at this point, they know nothing about the enemy. After 100 years of fighting, they know nothing about weaknesses. They know nothing about...
They didn't even know Titan Shifters were a thing.
Well, I say what they do know has just opened up a bunch more questions.
So we want to get as much info as we can. It's easily worth risking your lives for.
So now they do the dry well experiment where she fires the smoke, or they put Eren inside a deep well so that if he transforms and goes out of hand, they can still have some control over him.
He's in a hole. He can't really run off.
In like a dried up well. They send him down there. They run for their lives. They fire the smoke, and all right, so he goes to bite himself, and nothing happens. So they check on him, and when they ask him, like, what the heck's, like,
they go to look down the hole.
Did you not see it? And that's when Levi does his normal Levi thing. And it's like, no. He's like, we really couldn't expect this to work reliably. And he makes an incredibly good point right there, too. It's that so far, they've basically gotten lucky with Eren.
Yeah.
Because he's even made some pretty big mistakes. He's swinging on Mikasa. This thing definitely is out of control. It is a little bit nuts. It's the nuclear bomb of weapons. Like, this is incredibly dangerous to be working on, experimenting on, and we can't expect this to be reliable. During the Manhattan Project, can you imagine it's 1943 and you're working on freaking a bomb that you think could potentially just explode an entire city.
One wrong move.
Yeah, there's gonna be some mistakes and some whatever, but you learn as you go. Learn along your way.
So when they look down the hole, Eren has blood coming out of the side of his mouth, and both of his hands are covered in bite marks, and there's blood dripping down his wrist, and he's like, I can't change.
He looks like a little emo vampire in this. He's down in a dark well.
His eyes are all
bloody,
crazy and stuff.
Yeah. So
they pull him out. Bandage him up.
Oh.
And his hands don't immediately heal during this, which okay, his arm grew back, his leg grew back, right? Your stuff heals when you're a Titan. We know that. Clearly, it's not happening. So it's did he lose his Titan ability?
Something has gone awry.
And then Levi drops the line, figure it out. That's an order.
Yeah, he's
boss.
Irritated with him or something, and he walks off. And then the other members of the squad are like, well, I guess it just means you're a regular human like us. And they all kind of laugh.
Yeah, you're more human than we thought.
Yeah, you're more human
comforting.
than we thought. And they're drinking their tea. And then Eren tries to grab his teaspoon, but his hand is all hurt and he drops it. And then he goes to reach for his spoon and explodes.
Yeah, happens to me every time during tea.
And there's half a rib cage and a Titan arm suddenly appear. And he's trapped inside and he's freaking out and apologizing and what just happened? Why now? And then you hear Levi say, calm down.
And Eren's then oh man, I know, Captain, I'm so sorry. Calm down, you hear Levi say again, and he looks around, and it's not, Levi's not telling Eren to calm down. He's telling the 4, recon squad
scouts,
members who are about to kill Eren.
They have
with
their blades
swords
out and they're all just ticked and they're ready and they're mad and why did you change without permission? What are you? And they're just like completely scared and freaked out. It's Petra and Eld, and then the two other guys, I can't remember their names. The guy with the pointy hair.
Tongue bitey idiot guy.
Tongue bitey, yeah.
And the other cool looking guy.
They're all very angry with Eren and they're yelling at him, and it takes a while for Levi to get everybody to calm the crap down.
Well, they don't really. They escalate on him. They're like, prove to us right now.
You didn't mean to kill us.
Yeah, prove that you're on humanity's side. Like you'll fight for humanity, whatever, because now Levi explains this later, but that is their job right then. That they're actually just doing their job right there, which is like if he gets out of control, you need to kill him, basically.
Yeah,
right.
That's why Levi hired them on purpose for that.
And he's telling them to calm down still. And then finally Eren screams, would you all just shut up? And he's still trying to pull his hand out of the big mound of steaming flesh that just appeared.
It's funny
he's like trapped inside of it. He can't get out.
Yeah, and they're like, why did you do that? Are you trying to kill us? What do you do? Explain yourself. And it's like, if he's trying to kill you and his best way of killing you is forming a half Titan rib
that he's trapped in,
that he's completely stuck in,
he
and then
can't
when he
defend himself,
pulls himself out, rolls backwards, and lands on his butt,
practically cracks his head open.
He's the worst Titan attacker. Let me tell you, okay? But obviously they're like, what are you doing? Are you trying to kill us? Like, no, he's a freaking bumbling idiot. He has no idea what he's doing. It's obvious to anyone with a brain in their heads. Levi's like, look, you guys, it's a gut instinct. He's an idiot. Let's just give him a break.
Right after he screams, everybody shut up, we hear somebody off in the distance screaming. And she like comes running, and it's Hanji-san, of course, and she's drooling. She's literally drooling. And she's like, can I please touch it?
She's so happy that some Titan thing has finally happened in her vicinity.
Mm-hmm. She's not seeing
she can do experiments.
So then she asks Eren if she can touch it, and he says, wait. And then she touches it, and then you see steam come off of it, and she screams, hot!
And one of her aides who runs after her says the most accurate line. He says, Hanji, you live like a maniac. Yes,
true.
Yes, she does.
Which is absolutely true.
But she makes the point right there that's actually interesting because she says it's hot with no skin. She says that there's no skin on this Titan, so it's he's actually he's hot to the touch. Mm-hmm. Another random small piece of information that I guess none of these are particularly big, but I'm always fascinated with the science of it. It's actually Hanji's actually one of my favorite characters because she's always trying to get to the bottom of the matter and notices things like that. Is it Hanji who notices too that they're very lightweight,
she's the one who's they're not as heavy as they should be. Yeah, being how huge they are, it's they don't have enough mass for their size.
I just love all those little details that are included. They kind of make the world feel a little bit more believable.
That's when Eren finally pulls his hand out, and then she's like, no, it was too soon. And she's so upset.
And then they realize clasped within this giant Titan arm in between the forefinger and the thumb is Eren's teaspoon.
The forefinger? What are you, a biologist?
Pointer finger?
It's your forefinger.
Well, that's listen, us common folk.
Okay.
Us common folk might just call it a pointer. But
you ditch between dit one and dit one. He had it.
That little shiny thing that you use to shovel stuff and put in your face. Yeah. Anyway.
That was just such a college educated way. We're deep there.
The forefinger and the thumb.
Me.
There is a teaspoon.
Our vocabulary is exceeded.
So they show that for a reason. Oh my gosh, you guys. I'm going to keep us going, okay? We got to keep moving forward. So then I think the next thing is they're in the stairwell, and Levi and Eren are kind of bonding a little bit and having a nice little conversation that I kind of appreciated. I don't know about you guys, but
Levi says, hey, don't worry about it. Eren says, until they turned hostile, I didn't realize how much they didn't trust me or were ready to kill me at a moment's notice. And Levi kind of says, actually, that's why I hired them, is just to make sure everything goes normally. Yeah. They're not just cold-hearted people. They're on guard.
Yeah, they're doing the job.
To do their job. Yeah.
And then Levi says that was actually probably really hard for them because, they had just been talking with Eren moments before and laughing with him, and then they had to, at the flip of a switch, be ready to kill him.
Yeah.
And although it might seem like they're cold-hearted, Levi says that actually was hard for them.
Yeah. I can only imagine what it would be like. We know a couple people who their wives are Patriots fans. It's like you love them, you're with them every moment, but you got to be ready to kill them at a moment's notice. You just can't trust him. You just really can't trust him.
Oh my gosh.
So this is probably how they felt, like, hey, like we get along, we look the same, but somewhere deep down, I know you're a monster. And
I have to be ready to chop your head off at any moment.
Orange slice is coming. Sorry.
You tell me to bring my ODM gear to the next time you go watch. Next time you watch Patriots.
So then someone comes and asks Levi and Eren to come into the room. They need them in there, and then you realize that all the four of them are in that room with Hanji, and they've been talking.
Yeah, and it was Eren or is it Levi? Says, you guys talking crap?
I think it was Levi.
I just love
Levi walks in, and it's the first thing he says.
Anyway, anytime I go into a building, I'm just like, hey, you guys talking crap? What's up? You want to fight?
Any conversation, strangers are having talking. We just talking crap over there.
What's up? She's like, no, actually, it was a good conversation. We were talking, and I had to explain to some upper echelon people what happened. But look, and she unfolds the napkin to find the spoon. The spoon's not hot. It didn't get melted. It didn't get bent. Eren was so precise with his pointer finger and thumb that he didn't bend the spoon, right? And which means that somewhere subconsciously, he was reaching for that spoon, and he had incredible control.
Extreme
to not destroy
dexterity with his phalanges.
Exactly.
Yes.
Thank you.
To not completely destroy the object that he was reaching for. But then also, is it Eld or is it the pointy-haired guy? I don't remember which one of them. But anyway, they're like, wait, you didn't change on purpose?
Yeah, and they're like, duh, you freaking...
And then Eren says, no, sir. No, sir, I didn't. And he goes, so you didn't break orders on purpose? No, I didn't. And so then they all relax a little bit.
Yeah.
And then Hanji puts together that the reason that he changed, each time he changed, he had a goal in mind. Yeah. And when he was in the well, he didn't really have anything that he was trying to accomplish. He was just in the well trying to bite the crap out of himself. And he was afraid. He didn't want to hurt anybody.
Yeah.
He was really scared. He didn't know what was going to happen. They had taken all these measures, but deep inside, Eren is still really scared that he's going to kill somebody accidentally and not have control of himself. And so she puts together that when his intention is harmless and when it has focus, he can change. And then after that is when they all realize he didn't change on purpose. And that's when all the rest of them bite their hand really hard. And everybody, like Hanji, is like, what the crap are you guys doing?
I don't use this word because I kind of hate the way this word gets used these days, but it's them showing solidarity.
Yeah.
This would be a much more active, rather than just saying something stupid on Facebook. Oh, it's solidarity. This is actual solidarity.
Yeah.
It's like they take a pledge. They're like, hey, we're all in this together. If you're going to suffer,
and then
I suffer with
Eld
you.
says, wow, that actually really hurt. I can't believe that you bite yourself that hard, Eren, to draw that much blood. And then Petra says, just like we want you to trust us, we are trusting you.
Yeah.
And this is our way of showing you that. And then it goes back to the horseback, and Eren sees the bite marks on Petra's thumb. And he realizes, they trust me, I need to trust them.
Yeah,
and
she just says the words, Eren, please trust us.
He screams from the depths of his soul, I will go with you, and I will trust you. And it's actually quite moving.
Yeah, it's good. Eren's like, dang, these people are willing to shed blood. And we know, no greater love has one than this, to lay his life down for his brother. And so they're all laying their lives down for Eren. They're willing to die to protect Eren. Eren, the least you can do is trust the process, trust the plan. Even if it's not perfect, even if you can't always see what's going on, just believe in what's going on, believe in the people that are around you, and let's see if we can pull through this. Sure enough.
So they all hunker down.
So he commits. He goes, yeah, I'll stay with you, and looks back one last time and sees another scout, like one more dies
just
right then. He goes,
smushed.
And he like clenches himself. He's like, no, I'm like this. Okay.
He closes his eyes and puts his head down. His head down. I can't do that because I'm not in the mic.
That is a trusting, like that is a, because like I said, earlier, we just saw Eren go like, like these people are dying, like I can do something about it. There is some that is like a next level version of trusting in your leadership, trusting in the plan, is allowing other people to intentionally to sacrifice their lives. Maybe not intentionally. I mean, they are trying to kill her. They are trying to take her down. But allowing other people to go into a fight, they're going to lose. You have to watch them let it happen. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because there's a real life example. It's something similar to this. So if you've ever, they did make a movie about it, but during World War II, the Germans had a code that was incredibly complex and then actually changed on a daily basis. So this is a code that they use in their radio transmissions and in their Morse code. So all their communications, especially across international waters or anything that could be picked up by enemy radio signals, everything was put through this code, and the code changed on a regular basis. And so they created this thing. Why can't I say his name? Alan Turing. A group of scientists create this thing called the Enigma machine. This is the first time an algorithm, an actual learning math problem, basically, was ever really used in practice. He invents this thing. This is why he's considered the father of modern computing, because he basically invents this idea and creates, at that time, what would be an analog-powered computer that can decipher the Enigma machine. And so they include this in the movie. And as far as I understand it, it's not 100% accurate, but in real life, this did happen on multiple occasions. So once they're able to crack the code of German intelligence, they can then go, oh, well, they're going to attack here. Now they're going to do this. Now they know every move the Germans are going to make, because the Germans are so secure that they are so confident their communication lines are secure that they have no reason to not continue to use their code. And so what the Enigma team has to do, and leadership, this would have been English military leadership, they had to carefully choose which communications they were going to intercept and act on, and which ones they weren't going to act on. Because if they acted on every single one of them, the Germans just go, oh, they're on to us.
They cracked our code.
They cracked our code. We're going to have to change the whole thing. Because if you just go and suddenly you're just one step ahead of them everywhere, they're going to figure it out really quick that you now are able to interpret their communications. So the example they use in the movie is that there is and this one is real, is that they, shortly after they crack the code, one of the first transmissions I think they received is a transmission that the German U-boats are planning to sink a civilian ship, a transport ship. I don't know if it's an English channel, I can't remember where it is, but it's somewhere in the Pacific, somewhere in the Atlantic, and Pacific, Japanese. Anyway, and the call from leadership is do nothing. Don't warn them. Like, they could have warned them. They could have sent radio to that boat and said, hey, there's U-boats in these waters. It's dangerous. Like, change course. That's all they would have had to do. They could have saved their lives. But because the cause of the war was a greater cause than the lives of those on the ship, you had to willingly let those people, because they're on this boat. Like, these people are not military members mostly, but some of them are. And for the most part, like, these people all know that they're doing a dangerous job nonetheless. They're doing it to support the war effort. And so they let this boat go down. They let people sacrifice their lives on their behalf because they so believe in the greater cause of winning the war against the Germans. And it turns out to be the right call. And as far as we know, again, you'll never know the alternative, but
it's kind of the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
Yeah. And I'm just saying, few people will ever actually have to face that, but that is an incredible, it takes discipline. It takes a faith in the future, a faith in the cause, kind of belief that is pretty supreme in order to accomplish, which Eren demonstrates that right here. Again, he has so this is meekness in action. He has the power to do something about this, to take matters into his own hands, and he chooses not to. And he sees Petra's hand and is like, these people are worth trusting no matter what, and sees yet another soldier die behind him and goes, nope, I'm going with you guys. I'm going to let them make their sacrifice. This is for a greater cause. This is for all humanity. Let's do this.
So we see him keep running. It's difficult. And we finally see, hey, wait a second. We just passed a bunch of scouts all up in the trees. The trees are whispering. The trees are talking. And right as that happens, we hear Erwin Smith say, fire!
Yes.
All these cannons shoot with all of these spears, but they've got harpoons, ropes, and they shoot millions of ropes into this Titan, and she is like
at least
hard
thousands.
Stuck. Lots of them, and she's hard stuck. The trap worked, and Levi says, "Hey, take my horse, get Eren away, harness your horses somewhere up above.
Charge.
Elton's in charge. I gotta go do me some Levi things." And he goes over to do some cutty, stabby. And he finds Erwin. And Erwin says, I can't believe you got him this far. And he said, hey, don't thank me. Trust the people. Thank the people who were gave their lives to get us this far.
The rear guard. Yeah.
They're the heroes.
They bought us time.
When everyone works together as a team, we can get really far, is what he's kind of saying. then they look at this Titan, and she is like, she protected her neck, her nape, so she's safe, but she is strung up. She is completely
fully incapacitated. Eren, looking back, sees it too, and actually says the line, "This is they're planning to." What does he say? They're planning to take her alive, or the plan was to take her alive.
Yeah, he realizes this was the plan the whole time.
Because we want to know who's in that nape, and Eren and Levi even says to Erwin, "It's time to see who's inside this one's nape."
I hope they're crapping their pants.
Yeah.
Now,
actually, I think he said pissing their pants, but anyway,
not to criticize
their pants.
Not to criticize or question leadership here or anything, but like, you couldn't have put the trap a little further into the forest.
What I say, yeah.
Also, could you not have told the soldiers that were flying in to stop her, like, hey, fly in, but like, don't take too many risks. Like, she'll probably kill you. Just try and distract her, basically.
Make it look like you're fighting, but don't die.
Like, would that not have been? Would either of those things? They seem logical to me. Maybe I'm hindsight's 2020.
I think the main thing is they didn't know how many spies there were. They didn't know who they all were, so they couldn't risk telling anybody anything. It seems like the only people that knew what was actually happening were Levi and Erwin. It doesn't seem like anybody else.
And all the people who fired all those harpoons and that entire.
Well, I mean, but did they even know that that's what they were going to do till they got there?
Well, somebody had to pack the wagon, so somebody knew what was going on.
They're like, I don't know. We need those cannons.
Maybe that was standard.
They said supplies were in there. There weren't no supplies in there.
They were supplies. Harpoons. They just weren't, like the kind of supplies you might expect.
Perhaps they waited to get them that far into the forest to make sure they'd have enough time so the dumb Titans couldn't get in as quickly. Give more time alone, one-on-one, and post a more perimeter guard.
It's true. They did need time to set that trap.
So how did they get in there so much faster than the female Titan?
Remember they ran around first thing with the supplies. They split off.
Yeah, they went off on their own.
That much further? Anyway. An entire flashback?
Well, it was only an hour. They were only out for an hour, remember?
Yes. So here's where the end of this episode comes. And it is an intense one because the very next episode is where some uber awesome action Titan fighting happens. It's all you've ever wanted. And it's going to come in meat packing justice right hooks. So
justice for meat packing.
So buckle in, stay safe. Email us at beyondthebasementpodcast at gmail.com.
Yep. Check out the YouTube channel. We, if you're listening to this now, if you're listening to this in the future, it's probably not so relevant, but we are about to do a breakdown of the season 4 trailer. Yeah, mind blowing.
We've been talking about it for days now.
And so we've said this before. If you have not caught on to this by now, for some reason you forgot, we are not manga readers, or at least we haven't read ahead in the manga. We've just watched the show, so we don't even actually know what's coming in season 4. We don't want to know. No spoilers, please.
But we do want to analyze with all the information we have available. And if you know ahead of time, if you know what's going to happen, this is awesome. Now you get to observe how our detective brains may pick things apart, and you'll get to see the strands Isayama leaves for people who are, Titan detectives. But if you don't know, then you're along the ride with us. Maybe you'll have some insights when we break this thing down. So we're working on that video.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll be out this next week.
Yep. We'll be doing it. We wanted to do like a thorough breakdown, so we aren't able to do it right away, but we'll get to it.
Yes.
That said, go to the YouTube channel. That's where that will be posted. It'll be here on Facebook as well. And of course, if you're listening to the podcast, it will be a special episode, a short episode, where we do the breakdown of that trailer. So
also, shout out to one of our bros who emailed us. It is Armin's voice as the narration.
The narration.
Confirmed, which means everybody owes me, I think, $25.
No.
Okay, but not true, because what I said is it's a woman's voice, which I'm still standing by.
Because the voice actor is a woman?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but I said it's Armin's voice. And you're like, I don't know. It sounds like a girl's voice. I'm like, but it's Armin's voice.
Okay,
So,
listen, I'll give it to you. It's Armin's voice.
All right.
But
$17.
It also sounds like a female.
So it does. Yeah, it does.
Because it is.
The voice actor is a female.
For shouting us out on the email. We appreciate it. Appreciate you guys reaching out to us. And if you have any more comments, questions, concerns, or even to correct us or say that I'm right, just go ahead and let me know in the email or say that I'm wrong.
Do not tell us that we should pay
Do not send him an email that says
$25.
you're right about everything.
Listen, I will buy the coolest Titan jacket with that sweet money. So I will put it to good use.
Sweet and delicious.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we got to move into the spoiler section, but thank you for listening. Go find us. Go chat with us. We will
Like
see
and
you.
subscribe and all that good
Like,
stuff.
subscribe, all of it. We'll see you in the next episode, and we will see you when season 4 launches live here, Facebook. When that happens,
Can't
we'll
wait.
let
It's
you
gonna
know
be a big
times, dates, everything. It's gonna be baller.
There's gonna be lots of yelling and crying.
Mhm.
I feel like
It'll be
somebody
mostly me.
has just let me smell a slice of the most delicious like deep dish pizza,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're like, "Hey, I'll give this to you in like a year," and I'm like, "Oh, but I just smell it."
It is delayed. By the way,
right now.
word on the street, we can't confirm this, but word on the street is that season 4 is in fact delayed. Obviously, coronavirus has screwed up everything in the world,
Yeah.
including Attack on Titan. But are we
Yep.
really that surprised? I mean, everything else is delayed. So anyway, all right, now's your
Except
chance
the
to put your phone away.
apocalypse.
Yeah, apocalypse, that has come
Not
swiftly.
delayed.
Spoiler alert in 10.
Spoiler
countdown for
alert.
10?
Spoiler
5.
alert.
5,
Spoiler
okay.
alert.
6.
2.5.
3.
You are all now confused. Put your phone away if you want to know what happens next. All right. 3, 2, 1.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, yep,
Oh, the
that's
shirt
how you
has
know-
come off.
That's how you know. I would
Wolves
do it
are
too,
at
but
the gate,
Oh
y'all.
my goodness.
I don't want anybody to get scared of my massive pecs.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't do it.
Yeah. Apex.
It's
It's just so hot in this room
it gets warm. There's a bunch of lights
because the
in the computer.
spice
And,
of the Titan
spice.
discussion.
The
just-
Titan
well, you guys
spice.
don't know is
Just,
I actually heat my house with Titans.
Wow. They're really hot to the
Captured
touch.
Titans, yeah, and I let
Hanji.
them rot.
Anytime it gets to
downstairs
the
and-
desired temperature, you hear Hanje's voice go, hot!
Yes.
Mhm.
In Japanese.
So, major spoiler.
Annie is the
Annie's a
Titan.
freaking
Annie's
We've
the
said that
Titan.
for like
Garbage.
5 episodes in a row now
And we
because
freaking hate her, and the fact that she gets away and she never has to like receive any
She like murders people with such
discipline.
um
I'm still convinced
She
might
like
turn.
squishes them in her hand and like shoulders them into trees.
She didn't
and
have to.
literally stomps them. I mean,
No.
she just
don't even give her a chance.
murders
I mean, you
them
get her
with
out of that.
such regardless. It's just so bad.
How do you guys think Annie,
I can't even finish my thought.
the Annie
It's so bad.
storyline is gonna play out?
Okay, so yeah,
Well,
bring
we've
this
seen
up.
her still in her stupid crystal
She's in the trailer.
forever.
No, there
I'm
is a
just
crystal
saying,
in the
she's-
trailer.
There is a
yes.
crystal?
There is a crystal in the trailer.
What?
We'll get to that. But what I'm saying is, how
But
do you
even in
think,
season 3, she's still freaking in the
how do
crystal.
you think the storyline is gonna play out?
Well, we've theorized a lot about this, and it's come up a lot because this is her only story arc is in season 1 because
It's true.
we don't see any
She
or hear anything
Literally
about her
turns into a
after
rock.
this season. So we've talked a lot about how the fact that okay, maybe her maybe Zeke is her father or something like that.
Mhm.
How I think it actually ends up playing out. My guess is that we will see her. We will see her again. She will when she comes out. She does not know what has transpired. How she reacts to the information of okay, they figured everything out. Now they're actually they've made it outside the walls. Now they're gonna go attack Marley. All that kind of stuff. That reaction determines the course in which she goes. The only thing I can think, here's my curveball prediction is she had a stronger because we watched Armin kind of persuade her. Remember, she didn't kill Armin on purpose.
Yeah,
And it's like,
and
oh, I
she
like
showed
you.
remorse for Marco.
Yes,
Yeah.
remorse for Marco.
And
So
she, yeah.
there may still be a human with emotions. What I hope happens is they like Armin goes into like Colossal Titan and like steps on the crystal, and then like instead of her coming out, she just splatters like a bug. And then that's that. And then they just carry on, and no one weeps a tear over her rotting corpse.
What about Mikasa eats her and gets her Titan power?
That'd
Okay,
be pretty
sure.
cool.
Yeah, all right, that's legit. So, but yeah,
But
so
can Ackermans turn into Titans
we
if
don't
they
know.
can't have
We
their
don't know.
memories wiped?
I don't know.
Hanji could
Hanji could be, yeah.
Hanji could. That's
she'd be a
true.
great Titan
Dude,
shifter.
she would never stop experimenting.
She would-
That's just strange.
It would be really interesting if she did, because she probably would have more control of herself right away than anyone else. I have a feeling because she knows, because of the way her brain is. She's so
very
analytical.
scientific. Well, nonetheless, I think that Armin. Okay, sorry, my prediction. Prediction is she wakes up. Armin is one to explain to her like all what's going on, and she also finds out Armin now has Titan shifting power, and he either like basically he persuades her to fight with them in some way, shape, or form, or to at the very least give them more information. So I think she's the key. I think if
So before they go to the mainland, you think that they took a pit stop, went and got Annie, and they
For sure.
They woke her up.
Yeah, I think that they find
Okay.
a way. I think they find, by this point, they have enough information. They can get her out of the crystal. There's a way to kind of like awaken her. Now, if I don't know that this happens right away. I'm saying this could be midway through the season or towards the end, but I think that they get her out and use her to their advantage with information. She's again, she may be Zeke's daughter. If that's the case, she knows his like weaknesses. Like they use her as like a bait or something. You see what I'm saying? Like I think she plays into the story in that way, is that she ends up being an asset. Whether or not she joins them, she basically is coerced or convinced into being an asset for the Eldians to basically have the secret information to conquer.
Rach.
What?
What do you think happens to Annie?
That thing we've been talking about for the last few minutes?
Sorry. I was just like, I don't really know that I have anything to add to what you guys are already saying. I think it's possible that she could be turned if we ever get her out of the freaking rock, because of the fact that when she did show remorse, she said, I didn't think it was going to be like this, which is something that Reiner says too, which I think is the key to turning somebody to the other side, is when they realize my enemy isn't who I thought.
Yeah.
They're actually people too. They have feelings. They live like I do. That is going to be, I think that's going to be important for the story. And if it's not, I'm going to be a little disappointed, actually, I think.
Yeah.
If they don't do something with that.
Like
for both of those characters.
What if they... no, that doesn't make any sense. So, sorry. Okay.
All right.
Nobody knows what's in your head, bro.
My prediction... Well, I was just thinking, like, what if I just threw a curveball and I'm like, no, when someone does that diamond thing, they're that way forever. But that doesn't make any sense because both... Bertolt and Reiner were still interested in retrieving Annie.
Yeah, they wanted to get her back.
Which means there's a way
There's
to
a way to
get
get her out of there.
So, but I don't know if she can do it herself. I think she's like stuck in there. I don't think she can hear anything. I think somebody else has to awaken her from that like weird Titan sleep thing. And I think, like you're saying, since this happened in season 1, even though we haven't seen her in 2 seasons, I predicted that they were going to get her out because she was so conflicted about her role in all this. I predicted that they were going to turn her and she was going to join their side.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to happen in season 2 or season 3 when they were fighting against the Beast Titan and the Armor Titan and the Colossal Titan. But here's something I'm thinking now that I've seen season 4 trailer. Just throwing it out there. I think that they didn't try to awaken Annie when they went to the shore. It's been a minute since we watched season 3, so catching up is going to be tough. But but they seem to chase off the bipedal Titan and the Beast Titan. Now, did they actually leave the entire island of Paradise and do they go back to Marley, or are they still on the island? We don't know. It looked like they went back to Marley, and then here all the squad corp now, Eren and his Titan power, Armin and his Titan power, they all went to the shore. They got to the beach, happy scene. Then they're going to launch their invasion. Hypothetically, 2 things could happen. If before that happens, they have a fight with the Beast Titan there, they could use Annie as a hostage because we think that Annie's related to the Beast Titan.
Yeah.
But what I'm going with primarily now is they go to the Marleyan main continent. They wage war for what looks like years. This thing's happening. It's crazy. They get into like a crazy scrap fight. Things are all looking bleak. And then out of nowhere, Annie shows up. And somewhere way back in Paradise, she wakes up. Hanji finds a way to waken her up or something like that. She wakes her up. She convinces her, hey, like you're saying, all this stuff has transpired, and they took the fight back to Marley, and they're going to liberate all the Eldians. I think that could be a really cool bad way for Annie to show up and save the day and be a good person. I hope so.
I don't know, man.
Paul's making a good point. I agree with you, Paul. He says she might
say?
not. He said he doesn't think she comes through until like 3/4 of the way through the season. Like they kind of hold that card for a while. I tend to agree. I think that if it happens,
well, I mean, so
later.
far she's been a rock for like most of the show, so that wouldn't surprise me in the least bit.
Being a rock could really, change someone's opinion.
I think she is roughly in the same state as the Titans that are in the walls.
I wonder though if
which
she's
is something
aware
else
of
that they
her
don't revisit
surroundings.
for the next 2 seasons.
So could sunlight just reactivate her?
Well,
then?
sunlight or heat or something. I think that there's some
It's
relationship.
true. It seems like they've had her locked away deep dark in some dungeon somewhere in her rock form.
Yeah,
So,
but I think Reiner is on the verge of flipping. And I think Annie's on the verge of flipping, and I hope they both do flip. Those are the people that I was hoping for.
One more prediction. In the chaos of the last of seasons 2 and 3 and just all that way, where Annie actually is right now is not where we think she is. She turns up somewhere totally random or something that seems almost out of place.
Yeah.
I don't like the sensical thing is she's locked away in some deep layer in the interior. Military police have a whatever. No, I think it's she's been messed with. She's located somewhere
she's in like Hanji's hot tub, like hanging out. Hanji's like, what's up?
Maybe Hanji figured out how to get her out and has been slowly like letting Stockholm syndrome take over.
She's been painting her nails and talking to her about Titan.
She's like, Armin is really into you, don't you think?
I'm your friend. Remember, you're kind.
Armin's kind of growing up now. He's been working out.
It looks like he at least got a decent haircut for once.
Praise God.
Okay. Any other spoilers?
Spoilers from this episode.
Sorry.
Annie is the Titan. Okay.
Yeah,
that's the spoiler.
It's her.
These really cool inventions, this whole trap thing was recent development dreamed up by Erwin. So along with the shock spears we get later on, it's all recent inventions that have happened specifically for capturing of Titans, which now we know we really need to do.
They really want to capture Titans alive so that they can experiment on them, but also now that they know Titan shifters are a thing, they want to get the people out of them so they can ask them questions.
Yeah.
Like, how do you make a Titan? That'd be a great question for them to answer. I mean, we know that now, but
they don't know jack about Titan.
Right.
The 9 powers and stuff here. What was I going to say?
I don't know. Sorry.
Oh, it's not really a spoiler, but I'm really excited for. I thought it was this episode. I keep getting confused. I keep forgetting how many episodes
they drag this out for a while.
The story. I forgot that this one takes so long. But the fight in the forest and between her and Eren and like the whole thing, like this is a very cool. It's a very cool scenario. It's a very cool scene. I just am excited for that.
My question in all this is why aren't Reiner and Bertold with Annie right
participating?
Now? Yeah.
I mean, they're
staying in their human form because they're scouts and they would
doing
be
their
missed.
cover, but couldn't they be like, hey, I got to go take a pee and then just
disappear
like pop out and like wreck everybody? And
But you have to admit that kind of risks blowing the cover because they're on mission right now. They're with their squad. Their squad's going to be like, hey, they were missing. And which I think by this point, Reiner and the gang may even be aware, like, oh, wait, this is going differently than we thought it was. This might be this could be a trap. There might be a ploy. They're not dumb. They're not perfect. They do make some mistakes, and Reiner has some weird mental problems. But
Reiner for sure can't get away because he's like Jean is like on top of him practically, and Armin are right there with him.
And I do think,
but where the heck is Bertold? We don't know.
I do think this would be actually a terrible environment for Bertold. He couldn't maneuver very well as a fossil Titan, and I think he'd almost like trap himself.
He would just
in
like burn the forest down with his heat.
I don't think he'd be able to really do anything. So maybe that's kind of why they.
Yeah, and there. The spoiler part I was going to mention, I brought up to bring it to the viewer's attention. I was trying not to do it spoilery, but the biting somebody to get them out of the nape of the neck, that actually is how they get.
They capture Eren that way.
They capture Eren that way.
Bertold?
Is it Bertold?
But I'm trying to remember who bites it. No, it's not Bertold.
No, I mean Reiner.
Yeah, I think it's Reiner. But the ripping of the person out of the beneath of the neck while they're in Titan form, we'll get there when we get there. I can't remember which episode, but that does actually happen.
Yeah.
That's why I brought that up. It's like, wait, is Eren putting that together right now? Is it really happening this early where he's like, well, I'm not totally safe in there. So I could, anyway.
I don't know.
Maybe not. But
I remember that blowing my mind though when that happened and he was like fighting with the armored Titan, right? And then he just like bites him out of his neck and he goes running off. I was like, what?
Yeah.
You savages!
I don't think there's any other really. There's not.
I don't really think there's a lot of spoilers in this one. It's just a lot of flashback and character development and
yeah. Well, everybody dies, but you could safely say that about pretty much this entire show.
I will say that, like especially Petra. I was like, man, I love Petra like I love Marco, and she's gonna die too, and I'm so upset.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody dies. There's your spoiler.
Even tongue-bitey guy.
He can die.
He's going to die too.
Oh, dang it, dude. All the good ones die.
They just do. It sucks.
Rip.
All these new, they like, get you invested in these new squad, and then they're going to kill them all, and then they're going to do it again later. It's going to happen. They just keep doing it.
Perpetual cycle. All we can do is choose to do something good with the time that's been given to us.
It's true. It's kind of amazing that Connie and Sasha and Krista make it all the way to season 4. Yeah. Like, how did they do that?
Yeah.
Fate. Even Erwin doesn't make it to season 4.
I know.
He should have.
Levi's whole squad dies. Like,
Speaking of Erwin,
and he kind of goes crazy
because we're free to talk about this now, but I'm really pumped to see Erwin again because like he's dead now, and so since we finished season 3 to now, like I haven't been able to enjoy any Erwin because he's just been dead, you know, like as of current. Yeah. But like watching him do his thing, I'm really excited for where he loses his arm and that whole deal where that season 2 where he's like, go fucking forward.
I'm like,
anyway,
cry
that's
all
it.
the tears.
He may not be alive, but he will live forever
in our hearts and our memories.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
All right, don't forget, email us, Facebook, YouTube, all the good stuff, and we will see you in the next episode.
Thanks again for watching and listening. If you're enjoying the show, you can leave us a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify. If you're really loving it and you want some extra cool content, you can join our Patreon page over at patreon.com/beyondthebasementpodcast. Check the show notes or our social media pages for links to some really rad Attack on Titan merch. All right, guys, see you next time.